This is going to be a quick video, but I do want to make it because I saw a couple made me a little bit upset, but I don't want to go there. This person who I went to high school with did an interview, and I just don't really like the person very much. so, like, so there's that. but also, I want to talk about the replacement rate amongst like black women for a second. And it just this is kind of a spin, not a spin, but like an additional take off of the reason that pretty white sorority girls matter. In terms of like just womanism, okay, like there will just always be a place in society for like pretty women. I don't care like what anyone says. And there's not going to be a time when like chaste ugly women like just take over the world or something. I think that some people believe that. Also, there's like, I don't know if there's as many, but there's like a lot of like chaste pretty women, okay, and like chaste ugly women, promiscuous ugly women, promiscuous pretty women. That it isn't black and white, okay, and the really sad part in the black community is we see people like, I don't know, I keep saying gorilla here, but maybe it's just because I just think that she's like so awful. Like her and Ice Spice, um, Pretty Red or something, whatever that one is. Even I'm sorry, like Keita Rose, like all of these women, I just think are they're very like I think Gorilla and probably Ice Spice are like very low, like low tier, just weirdness. and the funny thing is like the white sorority girls and that culture, like maybe there's a lot of things that are problematic with like materialism, but at least they can like accept beauty. Like I don't think any of them are gonna look at like Cindy Bruna and like Lori Harvey and be like, ew. Whereas like kind of a lot of people look at Ice Spice and be like, ew. I think like some of you on the other side of this have just like never seen this. Like nobody saw Doja. Nobody who has like two eyes and really just an idea of beauty saw Doja Cat's Tia and Tamara video and was like, "Yay!" For was like, I feel like that was like the wokest left thing that I've ever seen. It was disgusting. Like I'm sorry, she looked awful, and it was just like, oh Jesus. And then it's like everything that she's done since then has just been awful. And I feel like this is why we need the white sorority girls. We need the like materialistic Lori Harvey and Justine Skye to like come in and just like let everyone know across the board like who's pretty, who's got it, and who like we need Shakira, okay, to keep coming and just century after century making videos that are about nothing. She could be like Coca Cola or whatever. Just like I saw Blackpink did another video that was like Coca Cola. That was the fucking song. It was Coca Cola, Coca Cola. So that all the other Asian girls know like what the what the pretty Asians look like. At least Sierra's pretty. She's coming out with something. I don't know what she's saying. I don't think she has much talent, but at least she's pretty and she's saying something. At this point, that's enough because like we've just seen a lot of other shit that is just off the radar. We're going like off the deep end of like we've gotten so far away from like mainstream beauty. This is why I had to make like Helen Does Things. It was out of necessity because I think y'all were just really confused about what like the normal baseline pretty Habesha girl is. It's like me. It's like Helen Hobbin. E Freezy, okay, like these aren't like we are the average of like Gorilla and Ice Spice. We're not like them. I'm sorry, like there's something else. Anyway, so when we're talking about like the replacement rate, the really sad part is that there have been quite I've seen it like a lot of like Black American girls who also were just like normally pretty, like they just had like a normal amount of beauty, and for some reason that wasn't enough for them to just have like a traditional family because of all the counterculture in the black community. Maybe it was like all the poverty or all the whatever. But it's like these women who could have been just incredible wives and mothers if there were some male who was like a backbone, who was like, how do you say, like just a provider. Um and that didn't happen. And I think, having grown up watching that, I think that it is another reason why, for me, I knew that if I wanted to make content, I wanted to make it in a way that was true to life and true to form for black women who don't really, at this point in history, have the same life chances as like the Alabama sorority girls. I think it's just really important for black women to be very pragmatic about our own livelihoods. Like, you really do have to have your apartment. Like, you really do have to have like your money, and you really do have to be so protective over your fucking womb and your body and your time and just every single thing, because if you make a mistake, it could actually result in your death. Your death. That is crazy. Like, to have that be like a reality as an American is cold. And maybe it's because also I'm coming from a really extreme place. Like, I am coming from California, where there's just kind of a lot of polygamy, there's a lot of counterculture. There's a lot that causes, maybe like normal traditional relationships to not be the norm. There's a lot of like LGBTQIA propaganda. Maybe it's not propaganda, lifestyles. That's a better way to say that. And I don't think all of those things are bad. I'm just saying, like, it's just normalized all of this counterculture in a way that it's like it's almost like demonizing just standard Christianity. It's like demonizing just living a very simple life. And it's almost like trying to call the people who are just interested in like living a simple life crazy. If you're like, oh, but like, for me, I really had this idea, like when I was in California, I would look at men just in general, and I'd be like, I would just assume that all of them, wanted, that they liked women. First of all, that was an assumption that I made that was so wrong. And then the second assumption that I made is that like a lot of them would like want to try and be in relationships with women, and that they were trying to like, date and partner and understand and build something. That just wasn't the case. I feel like a lot of them were doing things where they were trying to trophy hop. And what I mean by that, they were trying to just get access to as many pretty women as they could, so that in their Rolodex or in their life story or something, they could be like, I had 6 pretty women, I had 4 or something. Then there were other men who were more interested in like literally becoming women. Like, they were like trying to like mooch off of women. This is why you hear stories of like women be like, I split the bills or something, or I paid half of the rent, and I was buying him all of these things. And it's just like, what the hell? So now the men are women. You'll hear all of this shit, and it's just like, that's insane. Like, they have normalized like all of that type of shit, because like, I don't really feel like the replacement rate and like actually having a family and like actually like moving forward into the next generation isn't a thing that, it's not everyone, but a lot of people aren't interested in that. And especially like in the black community in California, it's not like prioritized. Like, I feel like, not to be funny or anything, but in California, I think that like gayness in the black community is more important than like family values, and especially more important than like black gay men are the number one demographic, and it erases like black women, because you actually, I'm even seeing it here in Nashville. It's like everyone is so familiar with like, oh, like here's the trope of like the black gay male. He's so loud, he's out, they put his face all over everything. He's got the black gay men have the makeup campaigns. They're like the models out here. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't, just give him a dress then, shit. Like, I don't know. Like, this is why I know for sure, like, I'm going to, just for myself, okay, like, I'm gonna do some shoots that are just me in cocktail dresses at some of the really nice bars out here, just so that like when I leave, at least you guys have that and we can make content about that. And it will probably only be like 1 or 2 days of that, but it's still like an experience, okay? And it will be something that really happened and something that I'm excited about. Um, yeah, yeah. Okay, so